Hey there, this is my second video today, being the 16th of April 2020. And I'm going to call this video Connecting the Dots. Martin Gerraux, the scammer, claimed to be a multi-billionaire cryptocurrency trading professional. And Sasha Marvin, the person who Martin Gerraux, or the person who calls himself Martin Gerraux, using Sasha Marvin's image as his own. And apparently he was given permission. And the third person in this, or shall I say the second person, but we're led to believe that Sasha Marvin is not Martin Gerraux, and that Martin Gerraux, the scammer, somehow has permission to use the images of Sasha Marvin as his own, all while perpetrating a scam and a theft of people's money. And what I can only conclude to be a friend of both or one of them. Either a friend of Sasha Marvin or a friend of Martin Gerraux. Now, what I'm going to show you will clearly prove that this guy, Coxe, this guy, is fully aware of who Martin Gerraux is. At least, that's the deduction I make from the information that I have. And the question that begs to be asked is, if he does know Martin Gerraux, or the true identity of the person behind the image portrayed, if he does know him, why is he silent when Martin Gerraux has been proven to be a liar and a thief and a scammer on this Facebook group created by what Martin so lovingly refers to, those fucking fraudsters? That would be me, Derek, Susan Bale, and Richard C. and Randy Strain, the original fraudsters that are blamed for everything or almost everything that goes wrong with Martin Gerraux's so-called business or organization, curtailing him in actually paying his clients. So let's get into this video, and perhaps somebody is watching, and hopefully Coxe will watch this video. And maybe Coxe will have a conscience if he really does know, and I'm speculating here that he knows Martin Gerraux. But I'm going to show you the evidence of what we have and what has transpired between us, more specifically Susan Bale, and this guy, Coxe. Coxe, I appeal to you that if you have a conscience, and that if you are concerned about people being ripped off and scammed to the tune of what we have calculated to be over $6 million by this person who claims to be, whose name he claims is Martin Gerraux, and who uses the picture or the image of this guy, Sasha Marvin, who, according to Martin Gerraux, gave him permission to use his image. Why would anybody do that? I mean, I personally, if somebody came to me because, clearly, if somebody said to me, hey, listen, I'm going to go online and I'm going to scam a whole bunch of people in crypto and Bitcoin, do you mind if I use your photograph and portray your photograph as being me? And then on top of that, the name Martin Gerraux is nowhere to be found in a ex-FBI background search in both the United States and Canada that a person by the name of Martin Gerraux, the way he spells his name, there is no birth record of a person by that name since 1950. Going back all the way to 1950, no Martin Gerraux, the way he spells his name, was ever born. Begs questions, doesn't it? So let's get into this video. By the way, this is the Martin Gerraux MG group, where we now have 83 members. Originally, this was started by just 4 people, the Fudsters, and it's growing. It's growing. 83 members. A lot of them have not posted their story, but a lot of them have. And it's the same story every time. Same story. We have 3 different Facebook groups, and one of them is dedicated to the story behind the victim and Martin Gerraux, and what the victim suffered by merely asking for their money. And then the 3rd Facebook group is where you post how much Martin Gerraux scammed you off. All 3 Facebook groups have links to the authorities, be they the SEC, the FBI, the DOJ, any authority that would regulate people in finance. Martin Gerraux does not have a trading license anywhere in the USA. Martin Gerraux has lied about his trading career as a stockbroker analyst in New York. The company he mentioned in New York was called by one of our members who said they have no record of anybody called Martin Gerraux ever working for them. The university in Southern California that Martin Gerraux claimed he attended was also called. And, of course, there is absolutely no record of a Martin Gerraux ever attending that university. Amongst all his other lies, his trickery, and he's psychopathic, narcissistic, and I'm now decided that he's a schizo as well. Because Martin Gerraux has, and he's actually a tragic character, in that Martin Gerraux, as per all narcissists and psychopaths, will work on your empathy. He made a video, or he left a message where he sounded like a 13-year-old little girl that was breaking down and blaming the Fudsters, that if he dies, it's their fault. Feeling very sorry for himself because Martin Gerraux has been caught out. Somehow Martin Gerraux still manages to survive. Why am I doing this? Martin Gerraux owes me, my family members, and my friends money from the syndicates. And myself and the other 3 Fudsters, the original group, are not going to stop until Martin Gerraux either pays, settles in one way or the other, or he goes to jail. Frankly, I don't believe he's going to pay us. He thinks he's playing a game. He hasn't paid his members for 8 weeks now, and he does not intend paying them for another, well, until May 4th. He's not paying anybody because this is the 3rd time or the 4th time that Martin Gerraux is going to check up on security, make a more robust security system against hackers and scammers and Fudsters. Martin Gerraux has used COVID-19 as a reason not to pay people. He has used the markets as reasons not to pay people. And of course, he has used the fuzzsters as reasons not to pay people. But he still pays some of the people. I guess those with their heads right up his ass, who protect him and help him perpetrate crimes on his clients and his investors. Here's the story. This is April the 11th. Susan Behill, one of the original fuzzsters, posted this. Martin Gerraux or Sasha Marvin, or one in the same. As many of you know, Martin has stated he was using past client images that he had permission to use to hide his identity behind. Go figure. How stupid the person that allowed him to use their face. We had many images of Martin, Sasha, whatever his name is, posted, and someone was trying very hard to get us to remove them. It went even as far as someone by the name of Coxe from Florida, a pilot, what a coincidence, just like Martin, reaching out to me, telling me we had the wrong person. Gary and I exchanged messages, as previously posted in this thread, asking me to remove them. My reply, no problem, Gary, connect me to Sasha and let's get this cleared up. His reply, he burst out laughing. A few days later, I messaged Gary again and asked him, if Sasha was so concerned about the images we had posted, why did he never get to address us or address it? Again, nothing, and no reply from Gary Coxe. I went even as far as reaching out to Sasha on LinkedIn, letting him know I would like to get this cleared up. If someone was using my images and doing things to defraud people out of money, any person in their right mind would want to clear it up as soon as possible. You think? To date, I have not had any reply from Sasha on LinkedIn, and now that profile has disappeared, which I have checked. Right here. We didn't find any matching results for Sasha Marvin. I saw the Sasha Marvin profile on LinkedIn. So, why do I share this, says Susan. There is a reason why someone was trying so hard to have those pictures removed. Not my place to say it is or not. Not my place to say it is or is not Martin. What I will tell you is that every picture, every name attached to the pictures, friends of friends, addresses, workplaces, etc., will be turned over to the FBI, and they can do and will do their own investigation and make that decision. This is supposedly Martin Gerraux. Look at this face right here. Now, Susan mentions Sasha Marvin. Let's take a look at Sasha Marvin. We are led to believe that this guy, Sasha Marvin, an aerobatics glider instructor and someone who takes people for rides in his glider. My name is Sasha Marvin. I started flying when I was 3. I'm not going to go through all that crap about who he is, but here he is. Here's his picture. Does that look like the same guy? Here he is again. A much younger looking Sasha Marvin. Here he is again. What I notice is that Martin Gerraux likes to wear a certain style of sunglasses. Okay, this is his website. And guess what? He takes people for rides out of Florida. Seminole Lake Glider Port, Clermont, Florida. And got a couple of testimonials. Now, when I originally looked at this and I took a screenshot, there were telephone numbers for both Sasha Marvin and a woman called Crystal. I don't remember. Crystal Frisbee, I think. Those telephone numbers have been removed. Sasha Marvin was called by a member of the Fuzzsters and was asked whether he knows anything about Martin Gerraux and the scam that Martin Gerraux is pulling. Right? Guess what happened? He put the phone down. Also, within 5 minutes of myself taking pictures from the Sasha Marvin Facebook profile onto our Martin Gerraux MG group where the fudsters hang out, within 5 minutes that profile was taken down. So the LinkedIn profile was taken down and the Sasha Marvin Facebook profile. Not only that, Sasha Marvin has removed the contact numbers for him and Crystal. I am assuming that Crystal is either his girlfriend or his wife. Wow, gets really interesting. So this guy, Sasha Marvin, whose images are being used by Martin Gerraux, and Martin Gerraux is being called out as a scammer and a thief on this group here, and this guy, Gary Coxe, look at that. Gary is a well-known guy. He's a very accomplished man. Very accomplished man. Gary Coxe, live at Orlando, Florida. Get your tickets now. I wonder if Martin Gerraux will be there, or Sasha Marvin. Does live seminars. The man is an accomplished man. A respected man by all accounts. Yet this guy, Gary Coxe. And look at this aircraft over here. Looks familiar. I've seen pictures of the person who calls himself Martin Gerraux actually standing in front of this exact aircraft. Fascinating, huh? So, for some reason, this guy here allowed Martin Gerraux to use his pictures, removes his Facebook profile, removes his LinkedIn profile, and removes his contact numbers. But here, I got screenshots of all of this. And I'm going to look further into this. But what's interesting is Gary Coxe. Gary Coxe having an interaction with Susan Bayou and now ignoring us. I believe that these three people, Martin Gerraux, Sasha Marvin, and Gary Coxe, obviously know each other. Or perhaps Sasha Marvin is Martin Gerraux. Who knows? The one thing they all have in common is flying. They're all pilots. And I saw a post here on Gary Coxe's Facebook page that he had just passed his glider license. Or he had just gotten his glider license. Also, Gary Coxe is from Florida. Not sure exactly where, but he is from Florida. This aircraft here, very familiar. Same one that Mr. Martin Gerraux was posing in front of in one of the first photographs he released to us. So, those are the facts. And I'm not a fudster. I absolutely do not enjoy making these videos. I wish that Martin would come to his senses and just do the right thing. Martin Gerraux has lied. Martin Gerraux has claimed that he is benevolent. And Martin Gerraux claims that he only looks out for his family. Look at my previous videos on how he treats his so-called family. And those very same people that were all good people that he has screwed over the last year or so. interesting. Mr. Gary Coxe, if you are, or if you do watch this video, you know, all I can tell you is that you are possibly going to be besmirching your good name. And if you do know Martin Gerraux, I would highly suggest that you reach out to us and reveal to us who he is, because sooner or later somebody will, and Martin Gerraux is going to get arrested. Perhaps you should speak to him and tell him, listen, just pay these people and make them go away. Get it done with. After all, I mean, Martin Gerraux is wanting to build himself an empire. And I think to myself very often, how short-sighted is Martin Gerraux? By now, he could have had thousands of happy clients. But all he does is make people miserable, including those that are too terrified, that are still in their groups, hanging on his every word, wishing him well, while he screws everybody else over. And the funny thing is, those very same people 6 months ago that were calling me a scammer and a fudster, that were agreeing with Martin Gerraux, some of them are right here in the Martin Gerraux MG group. And they've all had the same treatment that I had. Some of them have apologized to me. I think others are too embarrassed to do so. But they were also rah-rah cheerleaders for Martin Gerraux at one time or other. So, Gary Coxe. Man, I don't want to implicate you in anything. And please understand that it is very curious that you would actually contact us and have that interaction, as stated, with Susan Bayeux of the Martin Gerraux MG group, the Fudsters. I think it would behoove you to contact us. Make contact with us, Gary. And let's get to the bottom of this and get it over and done with. Because I personally will not stop mentioning you in conjunction with the name Martin Gerraux and Sasha Marvin. I will not stop. And do understand that by virtue of the fact that you may know Martin Gerraux, based on your interaction with Susan Bayeux, you will be questioned by the FBI when they finally get around to investigating this. Many, many people have reported Martin Gerraux to the authorities. Your name is in it. So please, sir, Gary Coxe, do the right thing. Thanks for watching this video. God bless all of you, wherever you may be. Cheers.